Are you ready, America? Because it's time for a Happy Friday. That's right. My name is Kevin Batstone. Welcome in again to another episode of Happy Friday, America, right here on the Discussion Combustion YouTube channel. March is here. Springtime is just around the corner. It's staying lighter later. It's becoming my favorite time of the year, and it's time to kick off my favorite time of the week. That's right now. It's Friday, and joining me now across the table, Mr. Arthur, you better act right, Raw.
Damn right, you better act right in front of accountable Kev as well. Hey, we have fun with the nicknames. I don't know if you're a regular Happy Friday America viewer, but we have so much fun with these names. And man, what can I say? I got to jump in today in history. It's March 7th already.
March 7th already, Art. Looks like you got some juice in here on history. What do we got?
1876. Alexander Graham Bell receives a patent for the telephone in the United States. I know we were talking about him a couple weeks ago and how they were battling over this patent for this. Him and another folk, I forget who they were, but as we mentioned, he did get it, and this is when he actually got the patent received for this. To 1905 now, Arthur Conan Doyle publishes The Return of Sherlock Holmes. Wow. This is a collection that was released in London after pressure to revive his famous detective character. So I didn't realize a guy named Arthur wrote Sherlock Holmes. Isn't Sherlock Holmes best pal Arthur? Who's his confidant?
I don't know.
Sherlock Holmes.
I don't know.
I feel like it's a guy named Arthur.
Is it Arthur?
I don't know. I honestly don't know now. But I do know in 1935, Malcolm Campbell, this is a British folk.
British.
He's Brit. And he sets a world land speed record at 276.71 miles per hour, driving his famous Bluebird car. And the last record was set in Daytona Beach, Florida. I know you like the speed records.
I like the speed.
Whenever I see race stuff, there might be some racing to do this weekend. We'll find that at the end of the show. But in 1968, the BBC broadcast news for the first time in color on television. So that's a big event.
That's a huge event. 1968, BBC, great news organization. Look, when color hit the screen, everything changed.
That changed everything. Hey, if you grew up like when Kev and I did, you had them big ass heavy tube TVs that were impossible to move, but the color was nice. And then last one that I got for today, and obviously there's a lot that happened today in history, but in 1995, New York becomes the 38th state to have the death penalty. So better act right, Raw is telling you for the right reasons. That's today in history.
I support that penalty. More states should honor it, and I think we should go old school with it. I'm talking old school, Art. Like the old West days. That's how I feel about it. So that could get controversial. I'll tell you what's controversial is Citibank fucking up again. All right? They've had issues like this before, granting too much money to their users. They had one that went to Revlon for $900 million that they had to credit back. $81 trillion was credited into someone's bank account. That's trillion. That's 3 times Britain's entire gross domestic product, aka GDP, went into their account. Within 90 minutes, it was found. It was corrected. But there has to be some ramifications for this.
Yeah, I know we covered one where it was like a couple $100,000 was accidentally given to this couple, and they spent it all, and then the bank wanted it back, and they had to pay it back, and now they're in debt because of the bank's mistake. I think that there should be some kind of penalty, like a percentage. If you accidentally put money into my account, you owe me now a percentage of that money.
I mean, even 1% of 81 trillion is hefty.
I mean, maybe it depends on the amount, but I feel like people need to be held accountable, and
that's right.
Pay me.
I'm sure
the money that you gave me.
The person that made this keyboard error, I highly doubt he's still employed.
Yeah,
with Citi would be my guess.
But yeah, as a company though, sure, they fire a person who slipped the finger. What do they have to do? Hire somebody new and pay for the training and stuff?
Right.
They're hiring new people anyway.
Right.
So it's like nothing happened.
Yeah, pretty much. Just water under the bridge, sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Obviously not a great look for Citi.
Well, no.
And that's bad press.
Yeah, and whose money disappeared for a little bit.
Right.
Whose trillions of dollars was that?
Whose money? Was it even real money?
Was it even real money?
81 trillion is that's a lot of moolah.
That is a lot of moolah. Yeah. And was it real money? That's the question. Because look, even if you buy a home and you own it, after you die, it's not yours anyway. So it's like everything's temporary. Like, whose money is it?
Well, it's like in the movie Blow that he says to little George, money isn't real, George. It only seems like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some things that are real are these ridiculous news headlines. I think I did something like this maybe about a year ago.
I like the ridiculous headlines.
The ridiculous headlines is fun. The first one that I have here, koala escapes zoo, falls asleep before it can do anything interesting. They got a picture of this koala like in a tree. It's so cozy. Just sleeping.
What a cute animal.
It's a very cute animal. Another animal related ridiculous news headline, devil otter ate my minivan. Farmer attacked by fur bag.
Do you have the links to these, or are these just the headlines?
There was a link that had all these in like a list, but why don't you just search it and find it yourself? If you want to do that, we could probably get it in there.
We'll make the viewers work for it this week.
We can get it in there, but like, okay, so I started thinking about this otter. What would encourage an otter to like start eating the inside of a minivan? And either the dude was doing fishing, he was a farmer, so he had some kind of scent on those seats to allure this otter. And I don't think this otter was a devil at all. Okay, so that's my 2 cents there.
I saw this next one.
Okay, you go ahead and say that.
A pig in Australia steals 18 beers from campers, gets hammered, and fights a cow.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
What did the cow do?
I mean, you get 18 beers in a pig.
Dude, but it's just when you're inebriated, it just pulls out emotions that were already there.
I mean, pigs are pretty wily.
So like,
especially if it was a boar.
The cow like pissed off this pig at some point in the past.
It was like a bar fight. It's like, I'm going to pick the biggest guy in here and get drunk and try to fight it.
Hey,
the pig did that.
Props to the pig. All right.
Won.
I'm going to just give it up to the pig here.
Okay.
The pig won because it had 18 beers and had a great night.
That's fair.
So it's living, baby. So this is an interesting study. I actually think we could probably research this more and do a whole article on this. Our cats understand us, but they don't really care. So that's there's a whole study on that.
I feel like we already knew this information.
I know, but it's interesting.
Cats don't give a fuck.
Yeah, be free like a feline. That's what I'm saying.
The felines don't care.
They don't give a shit.
They don't.
They're like, I'm doing my own thing.
You could be having the worst day ever, and the cat's like, here, look at my asshole while I walk away.
They're like,
They don't care.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
So
who cares movement?
U.S. government plans to use drones to fire vaccine-laced M&Ms near endangered ferrets.
It's pretty intense. Sounds like a movie.
So we're like using drones to shoot. Well, and they're poisoning them with the M&Ms and all the fake food in that. Well, like we talked about yesterday on Discussion Combustion. Duck walks into a pub, drinks pint, fights dog. I've typed God in there, but it's fights dog, loses. So it loses to the dog and then maintains bow tie. Not a joke. And then there's like a picture.
What's wrong with these animals?
There's like
drunk.
A picture of this duck and it does have a bow tie on. Okay.
A duck.
Yeah. It sounds like a bad joke. A duck walks into a bar, drinks a pint. Yeah.
Fights God.
Yeah, no, it fights a dog and he loses.
Shit.
Maybe we're all in the battle with the guy upstairs. Hopefully not. I'm trying to get aligned. All right. And the last one that I had here was man buys toy poodles and discovered they're ferrets on steroids. So good, ridiculous news articles here.
I just have so many more questions after all this.
I know, but we don't got that kind of time.
We don't have that kind of time. It's a happy Friday. We got to get the people moving to their weekend.
Yes, sir. What do you got next?
All right, it's time for my random records. Random records, guys. David Rush, of course, doing his crazy shit on a mission to break even more records than he did last year, Art.
He's going to do it.
But this week I decided to go with something a little different, and that's a ballet dancer balancing on on two ATVs moving simultaneously through an area. So basically in a split position, balanced on two ATVs, traveling at the same speed, broke the new Guinness Book World Record for 1,541 feet and 11 inches. That is the new record holder while holding that pose.
Wow. So were the ATVs like attached somehow so they wouldn't accidentally like drift far apart?
So they were only traveling at a speed of 3.1 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So, you're just putting along, doesn't matter. This attempt took place in the United Arab Emirates, and the new record holder is a 26-year-old by the name of Yara Kadar, and that is now the record. So,
that sounds like an interesting one.
It is. If you cruise down, click that link in the show notes, you can see a little bit more of what we're talking about here, but you can picture it. You've seen like people I've seen people stand on two different ATVs for a little bit and then usually fall off. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of distance.
I'm just picturing the two big ass semi tractor trailers that have Chuck Norris on the back, and they like slowly drift apart, and he does the splits. Like because Chuck Norris, if a bald eagle tried to steal a salmon from Chuck Norris, it's not going to work out for the bald eagle.
All I know is that the boogeyman checks his closet for Chuck Norris.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah, that's the record of the week. Pretty cool stuff. Once again, shout out Yara Kadar for holding the record of the splits on ATVs for 1,541 feet.
Wow.
Just
I mean,
incredible.
how good it would be to just stand up normally after sitting like that for that amount
Sure,
of time.
it felt good. I'm sure there were some attempts that went into it, as we've learned from David Rush. You got to work up to these things.
Well, and you're depending on the drivers too, man.
There's a lot going on.
These random records are awesome. I love the random records. We're jumping into the Would You Rather next. Let's do a quick recap of last week's Would You Rather. Is America split?
Once again, America leaves us hanging 50-50 on last week's Would You Rather. Art and I disagreed as well, so we have no definitive winner. Last week's Would You Rather, Art, we asked the viewers, would you rather have a perfect memory or the ability to forget something or anything you want at any time? I chose to forget. You chose to remember. America went 50-50. We have no answer.
Well, I always like that. Thank you, everybody, for voting. And it's okay if we don't agree on everything. But one thing we can agree on is that we need oxygen to live. So this week's Would You Rather.
Was anyone challenging that?
Everybody, we can all relate over the fact that we need to breathe, okay?
We need air.
Yes, and even though we don't agree on everything, we might be split on this week's Would You Rather as well. So you have to join one of the military branches. Out of these two branches, which would you join? The Navy or the Air Force?
Well, I certainly respect any branch of the military. I don't care which one it is, but
yes,
in this particular scenario, I'm going to join the Air Force.
Okay.
I had interest in the Air Force when I was in high school. I know people that serve in the Air Force. Our buddy Mark's son Trey is in the Air Force. I think it's a great organization. You get to be around amazing airplanes.
Yep.
I know you love the all the incredible aviation that our military has. So
it's so cool.
I mean, the Navy's cool too. It's basically air versus water.
Well,
right?
and even if you're part of the Air Force, you might be on an aircraft carrier.
You might land.
No, wait, those are the Marines.
That's the
Marines are actually they have the. I'm going Air Force too.
Are you going Air Force? I thought you might have gone Navy.
No, I'm going Air Force.
I thought you were going to be a seaman.
Because I am a bit nautical. I am the son of a sailor.
That's why I thought you were going with the seaman.
But there's just something about those birds.
You want to fly like an eagle?
Or even like just hear one caw.
We still weren't able to determine the proper eagle caw.
Well,
it sounded a little bit more like a chirp.
I think we did determine it, and it wasn't nearly as intimidating as we thought.
The screech that we all know and love is a little bit Hollywooded.
Yeah, that one doesn't happen too often in the wild, I don't think.
I don't think it happens very often, according to our research.
But I'm going Air Force.
Air Force all day long.
I'm going Air Force. So
all day strong.
In the Air Force, what would you want to do then? Like, what would it be?
Be a pilot.
Yeah. Actually fly it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what? That's like one of the top dog things.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably not going to make it, but that's what I would try for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best of the best, flying those birds in the sky.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I mean, are drone operators also in the Air Force? Is that like...
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're like...
There's a lot going on in the Air Force.
Because then my thought is like you're a drone operator and then like you go to your home after you served that day and you're serving from basically home. It's like a work from home military gig.
Sort of.
Kind of.
A little bit.
Well, everybody who serves, we absolutely appreciate you. You make this nation a safe and wonderful place to be.
We salute you.
Yes, we absolutely do. What you got next on spas?
Okay, so there is a New Jersey prostitution ring that got cracked down on. This is just kind of a funny thing. So there's a spa owner in New Jersey.
Okay.
Her name is Soon Bang.
Okay.
Soon Bang. Right? And they own an Oasis kind of spa, if you will, offering rub and tugs. And so they sent some folks in there, some undercover guys, and they determined that what they were doing was illegal. And so Soon Bang was arrested. Still, the name is great, Soon Bang, right? You go into the spa and Soon Bang. Get it? And so they were arrested. Place has been shut down. Major prostitution things happening in these spas all over the country. Art. I mean, just no secret. People try to find the rub and tugs. It's been going on for a bit. There's money laundering going on through all of it. So the investigation remains ongoing. Soon Bang is currently out of business.
Oh, Soon Bang, and all of you women of the night, men of the night as well. It's It's interesting that that's illegal still.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that like episode 1.
That was episode 1 topic, yes.
Of Discussion Combustion.
Correct.
Like 6 years ago, we were like, why isn't prostitution illegal?
It is in some parts of the country, but not many.
Yeah, so like that's just an interesting thing, and then like because there is no getting rid of stuff that exists. So then
not when stuff like this.
You just create black markets.
Huge.
Like there's no getting rid, even if they like banned all guns.
Yeah.
There's just going to be this huge black market for firearms, which already exists.
Look at drugs, same thing.
Yeah.
But one of the key things here was that they found a large amount of just cold hard cash being stashed.
How much?
Well, I don't have an exact amount for you, but that was kind of one of the things because they didn't want it being tracked from credit card receipts, things like that. So they were only doing these services with cash-only exchanges.
I mean, that's probably smarter way.
Well,
but they still got found out.
So
which police officer
got the rub and tug?
Yeah.
Well, I think all they have to do is get them to agree to the exchange.
And then that's when cuffs
like,
come
hey,
out.
can I get this for this?
Instead of your Johnson coming out, it's your handcuffs coming out.
Correct, and then you're in the slammer, and with your dick in your hand, so to speak.
And then soon bang.
By
the inmates.
Soon bang, no good. This is a woman that's in her mid to late 60s. I doubt she returns to this line of work again, especially with the national attention that this article has gotten. So I thought it was kind of funny simply because of her name, but we know this shit goes on all over the place. So be careful next time you go into that Chinese spa in New Jersey.
You got to keep it secret. You got to keep it safe out there. What I'm jumping into next, why do narwhals even have horns? And a drone captures for the first time evidence of narwhals using their tusks to explore, forage, and play. So I got a little bit of narwhal information here. The narwhal, Mundun monoceros, that translates to one tooth or one horn. And the one horn is actually a tusk. It is a tooth. It can generally grow on male narwhals and up to 10 feet, which is very long. Some people don't even know that narwhals exist.
People don't even know narwhals are real.
They don't even know that these things are real.
Is corn real?
Corn should only be $1. Okay. That's a whole nother subject. However, they're finding out with narwhals that beyond inspiring mythical creatures like the unicorn and all this other stuff, that their one tusk actually does have some useful features beyond like the mating, or they play with them sometimes, and they actually forage with them. So
they play with the horn.
Yeah, they like, I didn't watch all the videos on this, but there's all these. They captured up to 17 different behaviors narwhals have while using their horns, and so very interesting that we're finding out more about these beautiful creatures. And it's just, this planet that we live on is such an honor. It's like such a pleasure to be here because it's truly amazing, from microscopic life forms like plankton that feed the largest life forms like whales, and everything in between is just, and we're still discovering animals. And so this planet, we can be thankful today, 1, that it's Friday, 2, that we exist on this wonderful planet, 3, because of narwhals.
Hey, man, like that was a really good demonstration, man, of how the world works. Right when you did 2, I split it, so there's 2 of you, and that's going to be awesome because that was unintentional.
Oh, dude, that's synchronicity right there.
That was pretty cool. Look, I love wildlife. The Wildlife Channel is always on default on my television.
Yeah.
It usually shows animals doing fucking every time I turn it on, so that's interesting. I've yet to see narwhals playing with their horn on there, but I'm going to add that to the watch list.
They are elusive creatures, okay? If it wasn't for the drones, like, they're shooting vaccines, and they're also getting new footage.
I thought that was at the ferrets.
Well, yeah, but drones are doing a lot.
They're doing a lot. Yeah.
They're even dropping bombs. All right,
they're doing some shit.
They're doing everything right now.
They're doing some things. I'll tell you who.
Drones are doing more than some people on this planet.
A lot of people are doing less than a lot of things on this planet. Right?
And you're talking about a change coming up that I cannot get behind this.
So I love change. Change is great. We're renaming things in the country. And so my favorite cut of meat is a New York strip.
Yeah.
Always loved it. What is a New York strip? It's that beautiful piece that you can just cut all the way through. It's always what I order. Well, down in Texas, Of course, it'd be Texas that would want to do this. We love Texas. I love Texas. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has called for the New York Strip to be renamed to the Texas Strip, which, the Porterhouse and some of the other cuts, ribeyes, is already kind of known as a Texas cut. So I'm open to debate on this. But the idea of it is not just for Texas to be, hee-haw, we're Tejas.
Mm. It's
to bring awareness to the cattle ranchers and the Texas Cattle Rancher Associations. And, the reality is these New York strips are probably 90% of them coming out of Texas cattle farms.
Yeah.
So I like the proposal. Is it necessary? No, because now it's confusing. You take that to market and you go, I want a New York strip. People go, well, I don't know what that is. You have to say Texas strip.
Yeah, I'm going to put a big hell nah next to this one as far as this proposal. Changing to Gulf of America, I'm like, okay, that can kind of make sense, but why we need to change New York? Because everyone's going to get confused.
Well, that's what I was saying, because it's like, how do you market that after? And this isn't new. Like, they've been trying to do this for a while. They proposed this in 2015 as well.
Why don't they just call it strip?
Cow strip.
Yeah.
Strip steak?
Strip steak, meat strip.
Strip steak, I think you'd be confused with skirt steak.
Yeah. Everyone's still going to call it New York strip. People still call X Twitter.
I still call it Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's been like over a year.
People are still going to call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. And honestly, there's a bunch of different languages on this planet. There's like 5 different words for each fucking thing. And if you look at all these different languages, how come we can't call things different names?
I call things bicycle.
So actually call it whatever you want. If it's the wrong thing, then you have the kitchen take it back.
If it's the wrong thing, you tell them to take it back.
Yeah, sorry, that's not what I ordered.
I could go either way on this. Like, this isn't something I would advocate for. Mm-hmm. If it came to a public vote, I'd probably say, yeah, let's do it. Let's call it the Texas Strip. It just makes more sense to me when I think of cow and the Fort Worth stockyards and all that. Like, that's where my beef, most of it is coming from. I mean, we got cattle farms all over the country. Don't get me wrong, but the Tejas cut, the Tejas Strip.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me anyway, because when I go to the steakhouse, I'm just getting chicken anyway.
I know, every time.
I'm getting some
every time
ribs,
you and I go to the steakhouse, this guy never orders a steak.
I'm getting ribs.
Guess what
something.
I order? You know what I order? The New York Strip.
The New York Strip. Yeah, not the Texas Strip.
Well, that's not what it's called.
Yeah, so...
until this goes through.
Oh, and you even have in here a post on X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. So we're changing the names of everything.
Yeah. Let me get the Texas Strip, formerly known as New York Strip. What are we? A music artist by the name of Prince right now? What is this?
I love Prince.
He was good. R.I.P. Prince. Cool shit to do this weekend. Try a new restaurant.
Yeah, try to order that Texas Strip.
Try to order the Texas Strip. Hey, I'm fortunate that I got good friends. They're celebrating my wedding, so I'm getting taken out to dinner to an Italian restaurant downtown Denver that I've never had before.
You're gonna go with the Italian, huh?
Yep.
What are you going to get?
I'll probably get a...
You're going to get pasta?
I'll probably get a... I don't know. I'm going to get some kind of pasta for sure. Got to get the pasta. If they got a tortellini something on there, I'm going to get that.
I'd probably get like mushroom ravioli.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Damn. I like that, Art. Trying a new restaurant's always good.
Nice glass of red.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend people allocate 20 or 30 minutes to, whether it's your tablet, your cell phone, or your laptop, clean that mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Delete some of those files off there that's taking up space, some videos, some old pictures, old contacts that you no longer feel are relevant. Get those out of here.
Yeah.
Let's do a little spring cleaning on our devices this weekend.
I like that. My phone was at 98% capacity, and I did that recently. I did save my pictures and videos and just transferred them to another device, but I deleted like 200-something contacts. I had people in there from high school. That was 20 years ago almost.
Yeah, you got to clean that up,
That's crazy. That was 20 years ago. Yeah, clean up the phone. My challenge is to see if you can touch your toes, either sitting on your butt and try to touch your toes or standing up, keep your knees locked, see if you could touch your toes and do some stretching. If you can't, then, you probably need to do some stretching.
Let's see here.
Oh, a little bend in the knees, but that's okay. That's okay. Good job.
Hey, man.
I challenge people to touch the toes. Let's stay flexible. We have to keep it moving to stay alive.
Got to keep it moving to stay alive. We've learned the movement helps decrease dementia and other things. We talked about that on DCPC last night. Of course, if you're down in Phoenix, Arizona, NASCAR is back in town. The Duel in the Desert. Art, you've been to that racetrack with me. It's a lot of fun. Great racetrack. That's where we're going to have the championship later this year. So this race means a lot. We can finally get a grip on who is pacing the NASCAR Cup Series field And all weekend long, we got the Xfinity Series there as well. So tune in Monday night, Mash the Gas, NASCAR Sky, Jeff Davis, myself, every Monday night. I love it.
Yeah, mash the gas hard. If you're part of Kevin's NASCAR league, let's go Oak Forum. I'm rooting for my brother there. I want to see him do something this weekend on there. And go ahead and do something on our social medias. Click that follow and subscribe. That's Happy Friday USA. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, on X, aka Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, Happy Friday USA. Shoot an email over. We got love for you. And who's that? That's the freaking shitters. Let's go.